Okay, so welcome back to the channel. First off, new name, gone is the Gaming X, made no sense, now it's SwitchCorner. Today we're taking a look at Rise of Insanity on the Nintendo Switch. Can this one successfully translate from VR to Switch? Can it keep that scare factor high? Or is this one just simply an easy avoid? Well, hit subscribe, join the family. If you like the Switch as much as us, we're bound to have the content that's right for you. Leave me a comment today telling me what's your favourite Switch horror game, and with that, let's get started. So Rise of Insanity, great title, is set in America during the 1970s. Here we get the story of Dr. Stephen Dowell, a renowned psychologist who's dealing with a new patient that shows symptoms of not one, but multiple mental disorders. This dude is having a very bad day. And while this is the setup, it's really just the beginning of the story. It's a starting point to expose multiple different plot points. You know, what's Dr. Dowell's history? Because we start with really very little information on him. What's the fate of your wife and child, and is this new patient of yours in fault? Well, we have quite a detailed story here for a game that tries, and I will say largely succeeds, to wrap things up in 2 hours. It's not the longest game, that's for sure. Now this one, it's set within your home in a mental asylum. It's going for that kind of classic horror vibe, that's for sure, and the environments definitely work. And this story, they're pushing it forward using voiceovers, text and audio recordings, and it's keeping a nice balance between the three, I will say, so it's not always just like stopping you from playing, picking the controller back up and so on. A lot of it's being told as you play the game itself. This one though, I will say I like the concept a lot, but execution, it's coming up a little bit short. The best word to describe the story here with this one, predictable. The first 30 minutes or so I was hooked, but quickly I pieced things together and I had it worked out. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out the ending. This is a problem for a game that is very much narrative driven. That's the hook. That's what keeps you pushing forward. With the mystery of it all gone though, it lost my attention. Now when it comes to the initial setup as well, you're in the doctor's chair watching imagery on a screen. Think Clockwork Orange. This scene, it's powerful. Simple but disturbing. Ominous sounds are playing, this creepy ass dialogue. I was ready for some seriously scary stuff here, and it never really gets that back again. It never gets to how good this scene was. Instead, it unfortunately just relies on jump scares. I'm sure we can blame this on its VR origins, but honestly, yeah, I wanted tension, a slow build, and that's not what this one devolves into. Overall, a strong opening, 15-20 minutes, carnified becoming jump scare central, jump scare centric, and then it throws in a predictable storyline. This one, story-wise, it's disappointing, especially when you see that occasional hint of greatness. Now when it comes to gameplay, this one, it's a walking simulator, plain and simple. I don't mind it, I've had some great experiences with the genre recently. Firewatch is the first one that comes to mind, but I don't want you going in, expecting Resident Evil 7. This is more layers of fear in design minus the tension that one delivered. Gameplay, it's basically a collectathon attached to the occasional puzzle to push the story forward and uncover more of the mystery. Add in the occasional jump scare, and that's the whole package. No guns, no weapons, anything of that nature, just a mystery to uncover and a creepy mental asylum to explore. Control-wise, they work. It's a simplistic setup, honestly. Move and interact, so thankful to say they work perfectly. My biggest issue with gameplay though, it's the puzzles. They're just way too easy. Every one of them you can figure out in just like a few minutes, and I'm no puzzle pro, I'll say that one now. I suck at them, so if I can do it, most people can. Another problem with gameplay is it kind of breaks it up every so often with load screens pretty frequently. It's 2 hours long and you're probably seeing a load screen every 5 to 10 minutes. These are just like spinning dials in the middle of the screen, and it really breaks that immersion for this storyline of Rise of Insanity. Overall gameplay, it delivers where it needs to. There's nothing groundbreaking, but it's more than enough for the game to drive the story forward. So graphically speaking, we have the classic mixed bag. It's good in parts, not so good in others, to give us something that can simply be put as largely average. Environments, they look suitably realistic. I like the locations. I think they represent them well here, and we kind of get objects in each to interact with, drawers, wardrobes, beds, storage units. In the morgue, you can look into where the bodies go. It's a little creepy. But while they look decent though, the environments, they never really felt real. They're largely like empty and sterile. Empty rooms, empty basements. It's missing that lived-in human feeling, if anything. Also, some of the items we can interact with have like incredibly low detail textures. Why not limit what we can interact with instead of showing us poor design that does nothing for the story other than give us a pointless door to open to only find nothing? I opened one cabinet and there was like these square things, but I have no idea what they were because it was just like a blurred mess for the packaging. One area where the game really excels, I will say, is the occasional weird moment. You know, you're seeing a vision or getting a clue, objects morph around you, they float, the colours change, the screen warps. These were my favourite visual moments of the entire experience. This is when this team clearly like flex their creative muscles. Also, credit to the developers here, this one's holding steady at a solid 60 FPS, even through these moments when things get a little bit more crazy on screen. Overall, visually, it's average. For every great moment as the screen warps and shifts, there's the weak one with texture detail so low, you'll have no idea what the item is. Still though, I gotta say, priced at $10 US, £9 UK or €10, this ain't no AAA title. They haven't priced it that way either, and respect for that. Basically what I'm saying is, you shouldn't be too disappointed with what we got graphically for what we are paying. You gotta be fair there. So when it comes to audio, to me, it's by far the most important element of a horror game. You put a horror movie or a game on mute and the scares lose all their impact. Fortunately, Rise of Insanity recognises this and delivers. Story-wise, first up, voice acting solid throughout, whether it's, a creepy ass voiceover as you're exploring or a recorded audio file. Each feels suitably solid. It can be a little kind of like stilted and overacted at times then, but that's just as much because of the weak script, so no harm done. Then the scares, you guessed it, a loud ass noise to try and send you flying out of your chair or whatever you're sitting on. They're harsh, metallic and extremely sharp. Everything the developers I'm sure wanted to achieve, and for the right audience who like them jump scare factors, they're gonna appreciate it. Finally, music, it's a combination of like very minimalistic, like piano and drones. It works and achieves exactly what it needs to. They even layer in kind of like a few environmental sounds to really reinforce the locations, and yeah, overall it's a decent audio package, but like any horror game, I will say if you want the best experience with this one, stick those headphones on as soon as you start the game up. And that's it, Rise of Insanity for the Switch has some decent ideas, kicks things off with a suitably creepy intro, but sadly, for me, nearly immediately falls down and fails to deliver when it comes to execution. The story, predictable, the scares, jump scares. I can live with the jump scare bits, I know there's an audience for it, for sure out there, but the story, it's just too obvious, and once you know it, and once you work it out, you're going to struggle to really care anymore, keep on pushing forward through to the end of this very already short 2-hour experience. Overall, like if you're looking for a horror game experience on the Switch, on a budget, and you enjoy jump scare territory, you can do a lot worse than this one, to be honest. I'd say grab that bank card, stick your headphones on, turn off the lights, and enjoy and sink a couple of hours into this. You're for sure the target audience. Today I'm giving this one a slightly above average 6 out of 10. I can see the potential with this one. There was moments I enjoyed. I wish the tension we saw in those opening moments though did continue throughout. I wish we could have seen a bit more tidying up on the graphical front, and I wish the story was less predictable. If I just got through the 2 hours and it had surprised me, I think this one would be getting a 7 out of 10 honestly. Thanks so much for watching. Will you be picking this one up? What's your favourite Switch horror game on the console right now? Hit subscribe, join the SwitchCorner family, and we'll see you all next time.